It's so excited to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Alex.
I've been listening to your music for a long time. So it's great to meet you, and thank you for your time and for the interview.
Thank you for having me, Alex. Cool.
So I'm Alex from Heavy Music Artwork, and I've been running Heavy Music Artwork for 10 years, and there's a new magazine. So this interview will be for the third issue out in January.
Okay.
So it's great to have you featured as well.
Super. So I will not say that the new album is coming out in October. That's already then already out. And
yes, it will be already out. Yes. So how are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm doing interviews. When the new album is coming out, it's like 10 interviews per day. At least. And we just came back from Atlanta. We played the Pop Power Festival. That was a great festival. And and I'm just for a short time in Germany. And then we play some festivals here. The Keep It True Festival. It's a diehard old school metal festival, only older bands and the diehards, the metalheads. And then I have my anniversary coming up in Düsseldorf. That's where I'm from. That's the reason why we want to celebrate. Everything started there. That's on the 28th of October, one day after the record release. And then we play a festival in Mexico. And all doing promo for the new album. And I'm really excited. All these 20 songs I love, and especially the duets. You can imagine.
Of course, I know that you in your career you've done a few duets, but then I really looked into it, and you've done so many.
Yes, man. Yeah, maybe I should do a duet album. In the future.
Yes.
I think I did. 45 duets. So it might be a double album then. Yeah. But I love doing duets. It's to me always on each and every record there was a highlight, a total highlight, or maybe the highlight. Mm-hmm.
So your latest duet is with the Rob Halford. How did that happen?
Yes, actually, that was so cool. We played last year in France, Hellfest Festival. I don't know if you know it, a big festival. It's like 80,000 people there. And Judas Priest was my very first tour in 1986. And it was my favorite band. And I tell you, it was so awesome. Before we toured a little bit, club tour, but it was my first big tour in 86 was the Turbo Tour. And ever since we stayed friends and we always met each other on other festivals. And sometimes I visited Priest when they played, somewhere on this planet. And last year in Hellfest, we were talking backstage and I told Rob that I'm working on a new album, that it's almost done. And then, we looked at each other and, we're starting to smile. And I said, Rob, do you think the same? Wouldn't it be time to do something together, like maybe one song, a duet? He said, absolutely. We know each other for such a long time. We're friends for such a long time. And he said, what would you like to do? And I said, there's one song I love, because I did already Breaking the Law, was a duet with Udo Dirkschneider. And I said, there's another song of the British Steel album. That was actually the album which totally totally inspired me so much. I was inspired by the new wave of British heavy metal so much. So I told him, Living After Midnight, that would be my choice. He said, yes, sure, let's do it. And I said, I sang it so many times in the early 80s with some other bands. And sometimes when we were on tour, when we were having the last show of a tour, I always told, our support bands or other bands, let's meet for the last song, to give the fans some, it was before All We Are came out. All We Are is usually the song we do all together with everybody. But before Triumph in Agony album came out, we always did Living After Midnight. I even have some old video footage. It's hilarious. So I said, Living After Midnight would be my choice. And I was so happy when he said, let's do it. And he said, Doro, I have a song I always wanted to do with you. And I said, really, with me? Yes, it's Total Eclipse of the Heart. And I thought, wow, And I said, really, you want to do that with me? He said, yes. So we did both songs, and Total Eclipse of the Heart was just actually getting finished a couple of weeks ago. So that was the last song which made this album, and I'm so happy. And it will come out on the day when the record will be released. It will be the focus track, and we want to do a video, a nice video for Total Eclipse of the Heart. And I'm so grateful. It's so awesome. And there's another duet on it with Sammy Amara of Broilers. It's a big band in Germany. They fill stadiums. And I was invited last year at Christmas time. They do like 2 Christmas festivals in Düsseldorf. They're from Düsseldorf, the same hometown where I was from. And they asked me if I want to be a guest. And I said, yes, and then we rehearsed actually Breaking the Law and another song. And it was in my old rehearsal room. I was rehearsing in a big factory back in the day, like for 15 years. And then we're rehearsing in the same building. And we got along great. And then we said, hey, let's write a song. And that was actually the last song which was written for this album. Bond Unending just came out a couple of days ago with a video. I don't know if you've seen it. Mm-hmm. And it was the last song which was written for this album, and the last song recorded for this album was Total Eclipse of the Heart. So there are 3 duets on it, and I'm super happy. And it's to me like the icing on the cake, it's so great. And especially with my big inspiration, Rob Halford, I can't believe it. So yeah.
Yes, Judas Priest is one of those bands. It's like the soundtrack of our lives.
Yes, absolutely. Our anniversary, we are counting because the first album was coming out 83, 84. There was Burning the Witches. Yes. But I started out in 1980. I had some other bands before Warlock. It was Snakebite was the first band, then Beast, then Attack, and then Warlock in 82. But and I remember going to see bands and concerts. My first concert I've ever seen, like rock concert, was Whitesnake in 1980, and then Judas Priest and Accept. Accept was the support band for Judas Priest, and I tell you, and it inspired me so much. And then hopping on tour with Priest in 86, that was a total dream come true. And now it's an even bigger dream come true, doing something with Rob Halford. And so it means so much to me. And I hope that the fans will feel the same, will love it.
And Doro, I have a question which is very complicated to say it, but please bear with me.
Okay.
The one thing which I've noticed through all these years, because I'm 50, and since with Warlock and then with your other project, you always have a smile on your face, which is like a trademark, and I always loved it, because in metal, like everyone is like always like
serious and
like very serious and very like, and I love the energy that you have, that you bring in to the music and to the scene. I always loved it.
Oh, Alex, thank you so much for your kind words. That's great.
I mean it. It's true. It's so true.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm always so happy when I can talk about the music or the fans or other bands. That makes me so happy. If we would talk about other subjects, probably, I wouldn't have a smile on my face. For example, what normal people do, I have no clue. And I think, oh my God, and I can't cook, for example, when, I don't even have any girlfriends anymore, but, my girlfriend said, yeah, we got a new kitchen and we cook. And I thought, what the fuck? I have no idea. So then I would probably get, not in such a good mood. But talking about music and metal and, Priest and fans, I mean, that's to me the ultimate. So I'm always really, really happy. And when I'm on stage, when I see the fans, that's what I'm living for. They're definitely the most important thing in my life, and there's nothing else. That's the reason why I never got married. I don't have a family. That's, to me, the family is worldwide are the fans, and so.
Awesome. And also the titles that you have for your albums, it reflects this energy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Good. Yeah. At first, Forever
Strong.
So forever strong and proud. Last one was forever Boris, forever united, forever strong and proud. It was the whole time the work title. And then I thought, man, that's cool. It sums up all the 40-year anniversary album. But then I thought it needs one more word, one more catchy word. And then I saw the album cover. My favorite artist was doing the painting. He picked my favorite photo. And then I asked him, it's Jeffrey Gillespie. He's actually an English guy. He lives now in France, and he's always doing, since the Triumph and Agony album cover, since that one,
Yes.
always painting our album covers. And then I told him, I said, oh, Jeffrey, I'm doing a new album, and could you paint the new album cover? He said, I already did something. You want to see it? And I said, yes, of course. And then this one came, and I thought, oh, that's so perfect. And, and at first we wanted to call it Conquistador. But then I thought maybe the people don't know what it is. It's Spanish. And I thought maybe Conqueror. And then I thought, how about the female version of Conqueror and then Conqueress? And it's not so much used. It's not an overused word. And I thought it's powerful. And we definitely felt like we conquered, the world with our little band, with our music, which we had no idea, when we started. We had no idea that we would ever play outside of Germany. It was like, it's so amazing that 40 years later we can still, tour the world, and it's definitely great. I'm so blessed.
And the lyrics always, I've noticed that always carry a positive message, of encouragement and a positive outlook in life.
Yes. And that actually changed. In the early 80s, it was very dark and evil, very metal. It was all about, demons and witches and warlocks, and, it was definitely darker. And when I was about 24, I was living for a long time in Manhattan, which I loved. And then one day I woke up and I thought, today I want to, choose what I want to do with my life. I want to choose my priorities. And I thought I want to dedicate my life to the fans and to the music and be a positive force in this world. Because, it was never that bad like it is now. I think now it's even more chaotic. But even in the 80s, I thought, wow, the world is in pretty bad shape. So I thought I want to be a positive force and give people positive energy. And and then I made up my mind, and then all the lyrics I always try to have them, that it empowers people, that it lifts people up. And it's very difficult because it's much easier to write a destructive lyric. It's very easy and it's cool, but I thought, man, I wanna stay positive and still make it sound cool. That's not so easy.
I completely agree. I think that to care is takes more courage than not to care. So
right.
Because not to care, it's easy. You just don't have to do anything.
Right. Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And and for example, when we started out, we were very, more rebellious, aggressive. The motto was always like the Metallica album, kill them all, fuck them all. But I'm not, I'm not feeling that way anymore. And I think, it needs positive energy these days with everything what's going on. And I thought I want to work extra hard to give out good vibes, good, powerful things, meaningful things. And that's how it came about.
Have you had, because sorry, here's a question. Have you had the opportunity to tour with the songs from your previous project, Warlock?
What do you mean? Like to tour the world with the Warlock records?
Yes.
Many times. Yeah, big tour. We started touring in I think 84, 85 was the second album coming out. It was Help. First was Burning the Witches. We did some club shows in the Benelux, like Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, and then Hellbound. It was the first time that we came to the UK. Then we could play in England, and we were even on TV, which that was so great that in England they had TV shows where they played metal. That was awesome, and that was Hellbound was the second album, and then the third album, True as Steel. That's when we played the legendary Monsters of Rock festivals in Castle Donington, England, and that was actually a big chance. And then we hopped on tour with Judas Priest on our third album, and in the UK with Wasp. It was all over Europe with Judas Priest, and in the UK was with Wasp. And then I went to America just for a little promotion tour for the True Steel album, just for 3 days. Then after 2 days, I knew I wanted to stay. And then we did the Triumph and Agony album, where all our anthems are on, which I still love to play, like All We Are, Für Immer, I Rule the Ruins. I love it. We actually just recorded a Triumph and Agony live album that came out 1.5 years ago. And so that was big time. And in the States, it was a long tour with Megadeth. And so we toured, and we toured like intense. Like there was not 2 days day off. It was like, wow, it was mind blowing, but it was great when everything started to happen. Oh man, that was awesome. Yeah. And then I could tour with Ronnie James Dio in 87 when we released Triumph and Agony album, and he was a big inspiration, and it was so cool. So yeah, we toured a lot, and in this day and age, I still love touring. I still love playing festivals. The last 3 years when the virus was taking over, that was difficult to tour. But my very first tour was again in the UK with Michael Schenker. Okay. And that was cool. And nowhere else you could tour, but in the UK, the rules weren't so strict anymore, and you had to be vaccinated, and then you could get the work permit, and then we toured. Yeah. And of course, I want to tour more with this new album and do great festivals. And which city are you located?
I'm actually Italian, but I live in the UK. I live in the countryside, in a village near London.
Yeah, we just played in Italy a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Cool. That was awesome. And that was awesome. Yeah, it was great. And the UK was very meaningful to us because of the new wave of British heavy metal. Yes. It was very influential, and then I could tour with all these great bands. We toured many times with Saxon, which I love. Like I love the songs, and Judas Priest, and So I love touring. I love doing festivals, and this year was actually pretty good. All the festivals were sold out, and oh man,
amazing.
It was great. We just did a great show in Wacken. I don't know. Did you ever hear of Wacken, this big heavy metal?
Of course. I've never been, but yes, of course I've heard. Yeah, it's sold out immediately. It gets sold out.
Yeah, and this time I played there, I guess at least 20 times. We were, I think, 9 times headliner, and celebrate all our anniversaries there. And this time it was so much rain, so much mud. Everybody was like, like you could almost drown in mud. But people who were there, they were so excited. It was so cool. And we had a big show there. Mickey D of Motorhead was there, and Phil Campbell was there, and many great guests came up. And the very last song we did was Ace of Spades with all the guests. And then there was a big drone show in the sky, and it was Lemmy's face, and he had his head on, and he had the cigarette in his mouth, and the cigarette was smoking. I don't know how these drones did it, but it was state of the art. It was so great. So it definitely, like, playing live and doing a great festival. That's the ultimate. But a small club can be as good, when it's nice, hot and sweaty, and when people are headbanging in my face, and I feel the sweaty hair. Then I think, that's great. And,
I believe you've done also a duet with Biff
Yeah.
from Saxon.
Yeah, we did many duets on stage, and actually we sometimes did a Judas Priest song. We did "You've Got Another Thing Coming," and Biff came to my anniversaries, and I came to Saxon's anniversary. We usually did, besides "You've Got Another Thing Coming" of Priest, we did "Denim and Leather." That's always a fun thing, doing with the crowd and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Biff is a great front man. I love him, and yeah, so maybe he's coming to our anniversary show in Düsseldorf as well. He said he would love to. So there are many things in the making, but I know many ladies, they already confirmed. Elisa of Arch Enemy, she's coming. Naya Turunen, the ex-singer of Nightwish, is coming. Jennifer Haben is coming of Beyond the Black. I think Miller of Creator, he said he would make it. And Biff, I think he's coming as well. So, but these two are still, because everybody's so busy, which is great. That's great that everybody can be busy after the virus thing. So, yeah. But yeah. But England is special, man. It was always very important to me. And everything got decided there. The record company in England, they could decide if you would go on tour worldwide, if your record would get a worldwide record release. So it was in the 80s. That was, the UK was the place where you definitely had to, work hard to convince people that, you would get a chance,
So in this 40 years, how did the industry change?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I love still like the old school stuff. I'm still a big vinyl record collector. I'm sad that it's not anymore, like it used to be, that you had to really work hard to get a record or drive to another country to see a band. And now you can just on your computer, in 1 second you get everything. Everything is so available. And I think when you work harder for something, then it means more to you. So now it's all like, you can get whatever you want, right away, even for, no money. You can just hear it, see it, listen to it. So I think it was better in the 80s and in the 90s, I loved all the record stores. I was sometimes hanging out in a record store for 10 hours, like in New York, in Manhattan. They had this record store chain, Tower Records, and they were open 24 hours. So I always walked in at 10 o'clock at night, and then I got out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, wow, it's already, the sun is out, it's coming out. And I miss that. I miss record stores, and I miss vinyl. And now I know it's all digital. Of course, we have to go with the times, but I like old school stuff. I like to have something in my hand. And,
of course. I used to work for Tower Records.
You did? No.
I used to run the metal section in the early 90s in Tower Records, Piccadilly Circus in London for 4 years.
Wow. Maybe we have met and we didn't know it.
I met so many bands that would just come in.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great. Wow. And it doesn't exist anymore, right? Tower Records in the UK. I know in America it exists.
No. I've seen it in Kuala Lumpur in a shopping center, but I don't think it's the same. But the way it looks inside and the signs is all the same. But I don't know if it's still the same company.
Yeah. I remember in New York, I always went to either Tower Records, and then Tower Records, they were closing. And then I went to the Virgin Mega Store, and they had great, everything. And then 2 years later, I went to the Virgin Mega Store, and they had no more records. They had only T-shirts and,
nice.
And I thought, wow, man. And then that's not anymore. And yeah. So I definitely miss the culture of having record stores. And yeah. Sometimes, talking to people like you and saying, hey, is there a new band, a new record you could recommend? And then people would say, yes, it's coming out in 2 months, come back, and I got so many great new bands because of advice of, somebody like you. And it was so awesome. So yes, I miss that. And I still hold on to old school stuff. And we still have the new albums coming out. Picture this, double vinyl, splattered, CD. And it's a nice box set. So for the diehard fans. And and I like a whole album, not just one song where you can listen to. Sometimes younger people listen only to one song on Spotify. And then when you say, the whole album is great, or it's a whole story, or the band is thinking about something. And that's, I miss that, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, things have changed so much. I remember in the store, it would be like either one of us or maybe a customer is looking for an album. And then we will have to ring the import department, trying to track it down. Is it available? And is it out of print?
Yes.
And then it just, sometimes it takes a while to sort of see if we can get this album, whichever album. Now you can just go to Spotify or YouTube and it's there.
Yes, no, it's not.
It's so strange.
It's strange. Yeah, it's strange. And you feel it doesn't mean as much anymore, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, I know. But I guess the time is not reversible. No? It will stay digital. It will probably.
Yeah. I remember you used to get real music lovers that they would come in and they would be there all day just browsing and chatting to us, and they were for us it was work, but I remember we loved it. We loved it.
Alex, totally. I feel totally the same. I can totally relate, and thank God we had these great times.
Yes, indeed.
Now they don't even know, and they don't know the beauty of listening to a whole record for the first time. And I remember when I had a record which I was so excited about, and then I ran home and I couldn't wait to put it on when it was great, man. I listened to it over and over and over, and it was such a sensation. And
I remember we did, I can't remember which album. It was a Slayer album. And we did the midnight opening because it was meant to be released on Monday. So we opened like a Sunday midnight. So people would come, and the queues used to go around the block just for the album release.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't know if things like this happen anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. And we always did in-stores with acoustic sets. They were like mini concerts, and then people would sing along. It was sometimes a real riot. It was really cool. It was really cool. I actually do some in-stores for this new album in Germany. I don't know if outside of Germany, but definitely in Germany. There's some record stores left, but very little. And we do it a lot. Probably it's my last signing session ever, on this album. And who knows? I hope not. But
I remember I went to Berlin, and we got 10 minutes left. I went to Berlin and I did all the record shops, all of them. Have you seen this monument, that monument? I'm like maybe on the way from record shop to record shop.
I totally understand. Totally, yeah. And Tower Records in America, first time when I went in, when I saw 24 hours open, and it was like a big building, and that was in New York, and in LA, that was where always all the bands were hanging out, because it was right, where Rainbow and Whiskey and the Sunset Strip. And I was in the record store, and there was Motley Crue and Wasp, and and everybody was hanging out, and then Leader Ford, and we all met on on this little like in Hollywood, and wow, that's not anymore there. So yeah, good old times, man, good old times.
And like you said, I'm so happy that we lived through that. It was just a unique moment in time.
Totally, and it's great when you meet people who who know what like, with other people, they wouldn't even know what is Tower Records, and like the young fans, that's cool that you work there. It's so funny. It's
And
awesome.
we ran out of time. Thank you very much for your time. And I will send you an update via Claire from the label. And
Yes.
I wish you all the best. It was a real pleasure meeting you.
It was nice.
And an honor. Thank you very much.
Thanks. And hopefully see you live at the festival.
Yes, for sure.
So,
You have a good evening.
you too. Grazie mille.
Hey folks, thanks for watching this podcast. If you enjoyed this interview, please like, share and subscribe. Tell your friend, your family and your cat, and stay awesome. Don't forget to check out our store at www.heavymusicartwork.com. Ciao for now.
Preview.